Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction for Tower of God Chapter 577 or Season 3 Episode 160, starting off what I'm assuming to be a new arc. I'm assuming last chapter seemed pretty conclusive. I'm calling it the hotel arc, don't know what else to call it, assuming it's over. Before I get into reading the current chapter though, there are a few things I want to talk about. I want to just gush over last week's chapter. I really think that rereading it, going back through it, it's one of my new favorites in the series. I feel as though I'm saying that fairly often recently. I don't know, it's something that with other series like One Piece, for example, I've said before, there are times when I'm like, oh, this was a good chapter, but you gotta throw that asterisk up there. Good for modern One Piece. The implication being that compared to the way things were in the past, not so good, but compared to how things are now, good. But I just think that Tower of God recently has been good. No need for saying like good for modern Tower of God. It's just been good. And I've been saying that for a long time, even since pre-hiatus, even since the Nest. I feel like a bit in like the mid-Nest you can kind of look at and be like, okay, where were we going? It's a little bit, can get a little bit aimless. But I just think the late Nest was so good. Everything since we've been back on hiatus has been very good. And one of the reasons that we were given when they went into the hiatus was saying, you know, we're taking it to prepare the next arc, to think about what's going on with the next arc. And that's something that I said a bunch, where I was like, it's got to be hard. If you have to put out a chapter every single week, it's got to also be hard to plan out what's coming next. So I'm sure that didn't hurt. I'm sure it probably helped a lot to plan this arc out in advance like that. I just think it was very good. I think maybe the tighter focus was a good example of something that might have helped, because we had a lot of characters going on, but compared to the last station or the cage or the nest, we focused a lot more on a tighter group of characters and gave each of those characters more time, more development for us to get to like them more. Whether you're thinking about the Tiara and Mate group, or our main characters that we've already had here, or Yuri coming back and Drossi coming back. The characters Lilial being presented here, the characters that we did have, even though I came out of this thinking Lilial's like probably one of the biggest pieces of shit we've met in the story, and that's saying something in Tower of God. Like, I reread the arc over the past week, and I've got to say, wow, Lilial was awful. Like, the stuff with Mur and everything, I'm like, wow, she's a terrible person, and she doesn't really get much better at all by the end of the arc. And that's saying something in Tower of God. It really is. But we got to know so much more about all of these characters. And I think that, I don't know, just the focus with this chapter, or with this arc rather, is something that I think helped it a lot. And last chapter in particular, being one of my new favorites, I just feel like something that I've complained about ever since Floor of Death. I think it was a problem in Floor of Death, and even before then really, you could say it was an issue with Name Hunt Station, is we'd get introduced to ideas, we'd get introduced to characters, and they wouldn't go anywhere. They'd get dropped, or they wouldn't actually be that important. But I feel like everything that we were introduced to got wrapped up last chapter. We had stuff with the family heads, with Bomb, that was important for the overall story of Tower of God as a whole. The way that Bomb ended things was based on things that we've seen in the past. I think Kuhn's character has been, you know, maybe at its strongest since the very beginning of the series, this arc, because I just feel like there have been a lot of times where Kuhn's kind of a joke. He's kind of just almost getting killed constantly and way out of his league, and he in this arc is way out of his league and almost getting killed, but it just like works a lot better with his character and makes a lot more sense logically within the context of the story. And then just like the Hema Slime stuff was wrapped up, like all of the side character stuff was wrapped up. I can't think of anything that I'm like, oh, I wish we would have gotten more of that. I just feel like I had my fill of all of these different characters, all of these conflicts that were going on, and we wrapped them up last chapter. In addition to that, last chapter hyped us up for new Pobedao characters coming into things, because of course we're having the issue where Lopo, Bia, and Pobedao are going to be trying to capture Bomb before they get to the chess match. I was trying to think arena, wherever they're going, to the location within the next week in universe time. they're going to be going after them. So we're going to have more Lopo BM Popodao characters getting into the mix, and that's really, really cool, because just the few we've had already, Mate and Tiara are great from Popodao. I like the Lopo Bias we've been introduced to. It's just been great. So yeah, I just wanted to gush over how amazing I thought last chapter was. And in addition to that, something that some of you all might be excited about. If you've been around the the channel for a while, you probably know, but if you don't, for some reason, when we got to chapter 500, I did a video, top 100 Tower of God characters by screen time, and I said that when we get to chapter 600, I'm going to do that again. I'm going to do top 100 characters by screen time. So as we've been going along, I've been taking notes on screen time. I was like 20 chapters behind, I will admit. But I marathoned those 20 chapters and reread in the last week and did screen time notes on them. So I did, going from chapter 551, because 550 is when we got the little thing where we're ending the Nest saga, and then we went on hiatus. So I went from 551 to last chapter. Screen time, the top 10, or top 20 actually, the top 20 where Bomb was number 1, main character, kind of obvious, but he was tied for most of the arc with Serpent Master and just pulled ahead towards the end when we didn't really see as much of Serpent Master. So yeah, second is Serpent Master. Serpent Master, you gotta remember, had like the stuff with Traumerei when they were first being introduced, the stuff where they come in and kill all the candidates for the waifu tournament. They had the fight against Bomb, which came after the meeting with Lilial that they had, which came before the fight they had with Andrasi, Hemaslime, and Dravi. Then after that, we had the stuff where they were teaming up with Bomb's group. We had the stuff where they were helping hold off where they're all escaping together. They help to hold off Tiara when Tiara transforms. We got the stuff with the Serpent Master in the Laura flashback. So we got a ton of Serpent Master content. Lilial is third, Andrasi's fourth. Fifth was a tie between Yuri and Kun. Kun was actually way behind for most of the arc, but then these last few chapters where he's making deals left and right, he surged up through the rankings. 7 was a tie between Dravi and Ren. 9 was Hemaslime. 10 was Tiara. Not even making top 10. Rack, again, tied with Traumerei. Then Mate, then Jam Jam, then Koyop, Shiliel, and Gastang. For me, I thought Gastang and Traumerei would be higher, but then you realize that it's only like the past 5-ish chapters that they've really, really been doing all the stuff they've been doing. Then 18th place was a tie between Godoro, Cha, and Holin, so Jinsung didn't make top 20. So I will say, though, if you watch the 500 chapter screen time video, you know how I sort of count all of this. Because of the way I count things, you know, I think Andrasi got a good deal out of it, and Ren definitely got screwed over. I think that if I was a little more lenient or less lenient on what I did or didn't count as like them appearing or how I counted things, Andrasi would probably move down quite a bit, surprisingly, because there were a lot of chapters where Andrasi was only in like maybe 1 to 3 panels here or there, just giving like sort of a reaction face to whatever's going on. And it's like, yeah, I counted it because she's there, but she didn't really, like, there weren't a lot of panels of her when she was making those appearances. She didn't really do a lot for a lot of the times she appeared, which was surprising. Whereas I think Hemaslime would go up a bit, because Hemaslime made not as many like appearances, but the appearances were a bit more panel heavy than some of the other characters. Like the chapter, it's an entire chapter where Andrasi, Hemaslime, and Dravi are fighting against Lilial and the Snakes. And for that chapter, a good chunk of it, panel-wise, is Hemaslime fighting the Snakes, and then fighting Lilial hand-to-hand, and then running up the escalator to draw Lilial into Andrasi's attacks. So, like, panel-wise would have moved up quite a bit. I think Tiara, with the fighting with Yuri, it's, like, hard to tell how much they would have moved up and down, just because, like, I don't know, they did have the fight, but everybody else also had fights. Like, Rack would have probably moved down because Mate and Jam Jam would have gone up with the fight that they had. But Ren is the most screwed over by the way I count things, because if I was counting like literally every single panel, Ren might be up behind Bomb or behind the Serpent Master, because there's an entire chapter where it's just Bomb and Ren, just Bomb and Ren's fight. So Ren, again, fewer appearances, kind of like Hema Slime, but tons of panels for those appearances that they made. But yeah, that was just something I did over the week when I was rereading that I wanted to share with all of you. Long 10-minute intro aside, let's actually read Season 3, Episode 160. Again, you're probably going to be seeing this at least Monday at the soonest. My computer was doing perfectly fine up until around Wednesday when I recorded some stuff. So there is stuff coming, stuff outside of the usual like chapter to chapter kind of stuff. And ever since recording on Wednesday, it's been a mess. So sorry if this video ends up being a mess. But that's sort of why I'm recording this right after the chapter came out. But it'll probably take me a while to actually get the video made with the way things are currently going. But either way, let's read. When I clicked onto this chapter, I see Kirin here, and I'm tempted. I'm tempted to scroll down. I'm like, oh my god, who's talking to Kirin? What's going on? But I'm like, no, hold off. Gotta hold off until I read, until I start recording. And then I had to wait 10 more minutes because I'm doing this intro. But either way, we have a call with Kirin. Did you receive word about the situation? It appears that Gororo escaped successfully with the Irregular and his team. I know. He's already done his part simply by making it off the battleship. We can eliminate Gororo and the rest now. Interesting. Almost sounds like they planned it. Oh, right. Actually, this might be a reveal. This might be a reveal. If he's not talking to Traumare, like, this could be the reveal that he is the traitor that Gororo was just working for. Because he's like, Gororo did his job, we can eliminate him. Yeah, Kirin might actually be the traitor. Or a game of chess. That son of Kun. I think that's how we're supposed to be reading this. That he's talking to, like, maybe Belleria or somebody like that. And he was just using Gororo as, like, an intermediary, basically. He disturbed our plans with that unexpected proposal. By the way, have you managed to track down Robodon? I always go back and forth with Robodon and Lobodon, so I forget what the official translation calls him. I thought the official called him Lobodon, though. I don't know. And then they say, yes, sir, as expected. He's where the insider from Popodao said he was. I've already sent out a detached force, so there shouldn't be any major issues. We have him within our grasp anyway. Tell the detached force not to let their guard down. Robodon isn't an easy opponent, so they're going after Robodon. Again, I can't tell. Maybe he is talking to one of the Lopovia's people. Yes, sir. I'll let them know. Good. Now let's get started. I'll see you soon. Interesting. What an interesting character. We're heading for destruction. Oh my god. That's so cool. Season 3, Conflict 1. 44th floor of the tower. Okay, so we're back. That's the... Is that... I don't remember if the last station is 44 or 45. I don't remember if last station is 44 or 45, but I know hidden floor is 43, right? So they're just one floor off from that. Middle area. Alright. And we have... Okay, actually, middle area. This is where the dugong is coming out, the sub. We're here. We were originally supposed to escape and meet up with our companions. But I didn't expect things to go so wrong. Can't believe Kirin betrayed me. Okay, so we have Gororo. And again, I've mentioned it, people have mentioned it. It is so interesting how similar he looks to Traumare. On another note, that was truly impressive. And we have one of the lizards crawling out. That power of his. He's thinking about Bomb using the bow and arrow. You'd almost think he's a god. Although, I don't believe that, of course. Inside the submarine, little, like, oversized jacket and everything, though he's not wearing it at the moment. I understand that you don't want to wake up because you're too ashamed to face us. But I know you're awake, Mother. So she's just faking it. She's just faking it. We have, best girl Shiliel here. Honestly, I love Shiliel. Liliel's really worried about you. So, stop pretending to be asleep and get up. When I heard from our family and first found out about the snakes, I realized that they might be my father. It also explained why you also seem to prefer Liliel even though she and I are twins. But that doesn't make me sad or depressed. I'm going to use this fate of mine to my advantage. Look at me, trying to take advantage of my miserable fate. I really do take after you, don't I, Mother? And then we have her exiting. Coon's out in the hall. You. Yo. Coon Aguero Agnes. How's your mother? Is she awake? Gee, how nice of you to ask. You don't need to act like you care for the sake of politeness. You're curious about Maria, aren't you? Right, because Maria was their teammate. I'd like to know what she's up to be precise. This is so cool. Coon actually getting information about Maria would be big. That's highly confidential. But would you like me to tell you? Are you serious? In the upcoming war, if you defend my family till the very end, I'll tell you then. Man, best girl. Also, some of these, I mentioned it with the tiara panels. There were a lot of tiara panels that were like kind of borderline, you know what I mean? In terms of like what it was showing. Let me flip over here if possible. Oh, screen's freezing up, of course. Computer's awful. Like, look at in there. That's a bit borderline. We have a little bit of butt showing. That's a bit much, honestly. Again, not really a complaint from me. Just bringing it up because it just feels different, you know, as somebody who's read Tower of God for like over 10 years, seeing this much is a bit, you know, it's a little shocking. So hang in there. If you really don't want to wait, your friend and I can plan your funeral together. And then, screw you, we have this censored. Like, I love that it's censored here because it adds to the comedy, because we just had middle fingers from Traumare before, but this one is censored. I love also the style of this panel with Coon's face is really great. In that case, you leave me no choice. Good luck. And then she calls, and then hold on, this next panel, same thing. What are they doing with Shiliel? I mean, we know she's bestial, but geez. Liliel, what is it? Shiliel, there's an emergency. Come here right now. Is it going to actually be an emergency or just more Liliel bullshit? I wondered what was going on. The Grey Wolf leader summoned the Slayer candidate? That's right. Considering what happened in the name hunt and the fact that the branch leader can't stand us, we need to know what the two of them are talking about. Okay, that is true. That is true. But why? He's still a branch leader after all. What in the world would he want with a mere regular? Please! We have... And they're bowing to Bomb. Am I seeing this right? I love Liliel's face because of the whole pride of the Lopomia thing. A branch leader's bowing to a regular? The reason why our branch has this opportunity to earn the family leader's trust is because you were chosen by him. The branch leader must have been informed of the relationship between you and my daughter. Please, I'm begging you, for the sake of atoning for Elaine's sins, pledge your allegiance to the family head. And of course, this makes a lot of sense from Melbaba's perspective. And would you happen to be interested in Elaine? I love Melbaba just sliding it in there. If so, would you marry her and join our branch? I knew he was up to something when he agreed to monitor us. So much for the Grey Wolf's dignity. I can't believe he's trying to use his daughter to build up his branch again. This is great. Lift your head. No matter what you say, I'm not joining Lopobia. But you and Elaine are friends. Can't you help my daughter fix her past mistakes and receive the family head's approval once more? She may be my daughter, but I can't forgive her for what she did. Did you see that? He lifted his head as soon as the regular told him to. Oh, my head. This is embarrassing. What a disgrace to our family. Give my shameful daughter a chance to atone for her mistakes. There's nothing shameful about Elaine. What? I understand why you might be upset as her father, because she was deceived and she failed the family head's test. But in my eyes, Elaine doesn't have anything to be ashamed about. And we actually have an Elaine panel? I'm sure she's already happy without needing to atone for anything. What? Happy? How can you say something so selfish? After Elaine fell into that trap and tried to run away with that boy, our branch was devastated. I lost my title as branch leader. Our branch was subject of criticism for ages. Most of the branch members either ran away or were recruited by other branches. We were almost eradicated, I tell you. That girl's an immoral harlot who abandoned her branch. Okay, she doesn't deserve to be my daughter. This is like quite a switch up, quite a change up. If I were guaranteed to receive the family head's forgiveness, I'd kill her right now to atone for what she did. Watch your mouth. What was that? Elaine spent a long time in the name hunt to make up for her mistake. She gave up her own freedom and sacrificed herself to hurt others. And yet, all she ever wanted was your well-being. And what did you do? You did nothing but blame her. You little... Maybe you've had... Sorry. It's just, this is a very funny panel. It's not, but it is. Maybe you've had so many children over the years that you don't feel much attachment to them anymore. And maybe that's why you think it's okay to say horrible things like you wish you could kill your own child because they disappointed you. But your children only have one father for their whole life. You're the only father Elaine ever had. You gave birth to her. You brought her into this world. You should have protected her at all costs. That's what it means to be a real parent. Interesting Bomb saying this when, from what we know, he really didn't have parental figures other than arguably Rachel and then Jin-sung. And then this is very interesting with Shiliel and Liliel being the one to react to this. And especially it being a father type thing with their relationship to the snakes. Also, the snakes are one of the most developed characters in the series. I have gone, especially rereading, I have just gone so much higher on the snakes as a character, the Serpent Master. I love the snakes. They're great. It's hard to forgive them for what they did to Myrrh, but they were only trying to do it for their daughter's sake. And I don't know how morality works for a ball of snakes. Why is he getting so angry over someone else's business, says Shiliel. I don't understand him. A real parent. There's no such thing in the 10 great families. And we see a shot of the Serpent Master. Laura, talk to me. Just for a minute. Fine. But only if you do me a favor. Okay, I want this conversation. And then we have let go of me. I was trying to be nice because the family head's taken an interest in you, but you've forgotten your place, regular. Pretend I never came here. Elaine's no longer my daughter. I don't expect anything more from her. I'll be keeping a very close watch on you all. Don't even think of trying anything suspicious until we reach our destination. Oh my, what a sight that was. I've never seen a branch leader grovel like that. And we have Liliel. Are you that desperate to make the family head like you again? I hate to break it to you, but you're simply not strong enough, says Shiliel. Princesses, that's enough. Wait a minute, come to think of it. The family head dislikes these two even more than me now. Enough? Enough what? At first, I was annoyed to be assigned the tiresome task of watching over them. Never mind. But I just realized what a great opportunity this is. I can get rid of those two irritating vixens, harlots and vixens. Oh, Baba's hilarious. I love him. Without anyone finding out. Even if they went missing right now. What's your problem? You're so weird. This chapter's hilarious. The comedy's been great. Even if not all of it has been exactly, on purpose. No one would criticize me for it. I'll wait for the right time and kill them before we arrive. And then those three walk off from Bomb. That was very suspicious, he thinks. Bobadow family's battleship. Yes, please. What? Chess? Kun-san suggested that the two family heads settle their differences with a game of chess. The battle's probably going to take place you know where. Holy shit. That bastard from the Kun family has balls of steel. I actually kind of love Bellarier too. He's such a douchebag, but in the most hilarious way. That's real. And this dialogue is really great for him. What a load of bullshit. This isn't some kind of board game club. And he's just cracking up the whole time. Does he really think a war can be resolved so easily? This is just like him. He seems to have found his own way out of this war. Considering the powerful forces surrounding him, it might not be such a bad idea. Don't laugh at him too much. And again, Rachel giving him the credit he deserves. And also, I know people are going to hate me for it, but I've been saying it since we came back from the nest with Rachel, but damn, Rachel is up there, maybe top 10 for me. Tower of God girls. I mean, dang. The glow up has been insane. Well, I guess it doesn't matter either way. After all struggle, I'm just laughing to myself so much because I know the comments. After all struggling, he'll realize in the end, the rupture's already begun. And again, the rupture, that's the same sort of language that Gaston used. And, until it devours everything in this tower, middle area, line of defense near Lopobia's battleship. Alright, there's no way to stop it. There's signs of multiple warps occurring up ahead. It's the Pobedao Army's ID number. Those are floating carriers. Geez, we have these massive ones coming in from Pobedao's army. What's going on? How'd they warp without using a gate? I'm not sure. I've never seen that type of floating carrier before. I wonder if it's similar to what Kuhn used for the infiltration, where they have this new warp technology that the Lopobia didn't recognize. What the hell is it? Alright. Okay. We have the one like massive ship towering over all of these Lopobia ships. And the Lopobia soldiers are getting blinded. It's so bright. And we start seeing a bunch of destruction. This is so interesting. I love the ship designs as well. Like, CU's really going all out here. Lord Traumerei, Pobedao's fleet appears to have begun attacking our battleship's defense as we have Kirin once again. Jump cut and we're back, and from your perspective, nothing probably has changed because it's been instant. For me, OBS crashed, I waited a while, and now we're back. So, back to record the rest of this. Sorry for the late video because of all of this, but yeah, OBS crashed. I tried to open it back up and everything, and like, it was working, but it was kind of laggy, and I was like, I don't want that to affect the reaction. I don't want it to screw anything up, so I'm gonna just wait a bit. And yeah, things are fine now. So either way, let's continue on. Let's continue reading. It sucks because the chapter's been amazing thus far, and it's like, okay, I have to just cut myself off in the middle of this and come back to it later. But either way, also, not only has it been incredibly good, it's been incredibly lengthy. And honestly, CU and the team, I feel like it might be a bit much, because it's like, I feel like they have to be working themselves really, really hard to put out a chapter this long and this dense every single week. And it's like, they could shorten the chapters a little and I wouldn't really complain. The chapters are already like way more than enough for me every single week. But yeah, this is a lot. Either way, let's continue on. We were at Kirin saying, Lord Traumerei, Pobedao's fleet appears to have begun attacking our battleship's defenses. But the fleet warped here without using a gate. Without a gate? Yes, sir. And our forces are being wiped out by some kind of massive light attack. Light. Could it be Shinwanryu? No, that can't be. I'll go check it out. Alright? This is such an interesting, like, battleship and everything. Alright? We see... This guy looks pretty neat. The debut was a success. Congrats. Alright. We have this green warp. And then Traumerei himself appearing. The king is here. Uh-oh. For real? Get out of there. You're screwed. Then, I don't think so. The family head himself is here. It would be a shame to just leave. I'm going to fight him. Haha, you're such a tough guy. That's super brave of you, lol. But he's gonna kick your ass, haha. And he points his arm. Attack. Alright? And it's the, honestly, the ship thingy from before. Interesting. Alright. Interesting. Go easy on them. I want to take that big floating carrier back as a sample, so don't scratch it. One of Traumerei's 7 animals, Lazy Elgor. That is interesting. So like his 7, we have the Hairtail Fandor Harpe, which I actually looked up. Hairtail Fandor is actually the name of an animal, but Harpe isn't, so I guess Harpe is its name. But I was thinking here, I guess it doesn't make sense with like Poison Dragon Vanquish and everything. With his 7 creatures, I was thinking like Arrogant Kraken, maybe it's like 7 Deadly Sins, and then like Lazy Elgor, but I don't think that's the case, since I'm pretty sure we've seen others. But either way, like, it's hard to tell what are one of the, 23 beasts of Traumerei and what aren't. Because he has 7 himself, but there were 23 branches all named after the 23 beasts, but 3 of the branches were wiped out. We've got the one from the Yasracha flashback that is presumably not the same one that was wiped out by the goblin shark. And then also, maybe we can guess that the monkey branch, because Didiano said his branch was folded into another branch, we could assume the monkey branch is like the third one that's not around anymore. So that's how they got down to 20. But yeah, either way, it's hard to tell what is one of those 23 beasts and what isn't. I mean, given that, you know, Elbaba and Umtiti had the wolf and and what is it? The badger, then you would think those are two of the 23, but it seemed like, gosh, at least so far, it seems like Goruro doesn't have one of the 23, which means that maybe one of the 7 is meant to be Goruro's branches. But either way, it stopped for a moment, unless Goruro's still just hiding it. But I sensed it faintly just now. That power was almost as strong as Shinwan Ryu. And then I wonder if they're making like artificial Shinwan Ryu through technology. That could be interesting. I need to test it. Fire. Destroy its left wing as well. Alright. And we have... oh, it has like a staff and all as well. It's massive too. Of the guy. I guess we didn't bring enough troops with us. Retreat. Warp. And they start going back through. Interesting. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, and he sends out, it's like multiple versions of the Hairtail Fandor harp. Like before, like he had the smaller one that I was thinking maybe it was just compressed. But I wonder if he can like make multiple versions of it just because he's that powerful in anima or whatever. Because we have them grabbing onto the ships now. Interesting. The big one got away. Considering its size, it's faster than I thought. Wow, it was able to escape. That's really interesting. Oh well, I'll just have to go after the smaller ships. And he starts breaking them apart. It's going to self-destruct. He takes them all out using the Fandor harps. And then Gastang. What in the world are you up to? And then Kirin. Yes, Lord Tromare. Can you see where they just warped to? They didn't use a gate for the warp, so it's difficult to say for sure, but it might be possible to track their general direction since they traveled within our territory. Very well. Find and send me the location of the nearest unit of Pobadow's army in the direction they were going. I'm going to start hunting them down. Shall I assemble the branch leaders, sir? No, I'm going myself. I want to find out what those strange floating ships were. Have the branch leaders focus on locating the irregular. Make sure they find him before the showdown. Okay, so the branch leaders are going for Bomb then. And Tromare himself is going to be doing the fighting. As you wish, sir. I express my deepest consolation and fear for the Pobadow's forces that have to face you in battle, my lord. Front line of defense of Pobadow's army. And we see it looks like another Tromare warp. Someone's warping up ahead. What? From outside the gate? Is it a friend or a foe? Oh my god, it's a family head. He just teleported here. You're going to regret making me leave home. Gastang. And we have all of these beasts coming through with him. Interesting, so let's look here. We have the Kraken, of course. We have this fish with these rows of teeth. Some sort of thing with a chin horn and one eye. A fish of some kind. It looks like a pangolin. A flying squirrel, maybe. The thing we just saw, what was his name? The Lazy Elgor? We have Lazy Elgor there. We have a lion, which may or may not be related to, her Lilial and Laura's family, given that she also uses some sort of, like, saber-toothed cat. Something with whiskers looking kind of like a catfish. Then like this two-headed ox and a crow. We have a fox, I guess a nine-tailed fox down toward the bottom. We see all the ships coming in. And we cut to Bomb. He starts getting a headache. Inside the submarine, Raccoon and Bomb's room. Oh, or I wonder if that could be Leviathan reacting to Tromare again. Somebody in my comments from last chapter said that they think, because I said before that I think Gustang's goal might be either to spread the truth to the tower or to free Eurasia in all of this. But somebody said that they think, sorry, I don't remember exactly who it was who commented, said that they think Gustang is trying to bring Traumare's memories back to turn Traumare on Zahard, which is another interesting way to read it, because the Leviathan memory stuff still needs to come into play more. Inside the submarine, Raccoon and Bomb's room. That was a remarkable decision. Irregular. What a brilliant idea to release Traumare's Shinwei. And then, you really hit him hard. Did you sense it? And is it Cameron Etheridge? I don't remember who said, "I will not let Bomb and Yuri's crimes be forgotten," where Bomb just released all of these super powerful Shinheo on the poor innocent denizens of the, 52nd floor they were on. So yeah, Bomb's got some war crimes under his belt now, along with Yuri now. You really hit him hard. Did you sense it when you saw him? He's an irrational, unstoppable force of nature. And we have the same panel from before. Like that giant fish tank of his. He's not meant to exist in this world. But if you ask me, the same goes for you. Perhaps you're an irrational being who entered this tower for the sake of eliminating other irrational beings. If you bring me the power of all 3 of Traumare's water dragons, I might have a way to defeat him. I'll help you. Interesting. Let's pierce Traumare's heart, together. Use my power to transform yourself. Interesting. What a cliffhanger. Yeah, we don't know what that means exactly, how literal that means, or if it's like more of a transform yourself in the metaphysical sense. Interesting. That was an incredibly good chapter. I talked about it a lot as I went through. I did a lot of discussion as I read, so I guess I don't feel like I have as much to discuss for the outro here. Other than just generally, like I said, it was super, super long. The content was really dense. That's something as well that people said last chapter that I agree with, where it's not just that there was a lot of content. The content was very dense. So yeah, incredible chapter, incredible string of chapters. I wonder what we'll call this next arc, the Traumare's people chasing down Bomb arc. Popodao as well getting involved. I don't know, maybe this is the full-on Lopobia-Popodao war at this point, since they're going to be fighting in the week leading up to their chess match. Interesting. I really want to know more about these Popodao characters as well, and their technology that they've come up with that's similar to Shinwan Ryu. I think is very interesting. But yeah, either way, I will end it here. There's plenty more to discuss, plenty more to talk about, I'm sure. So we can talk if you want to in the comments. I love talking to you all. We can talk on Discord. I try to talk there as much as possible with everybody. We can talk on Twitter if you hit me up there as well. Like, seriously, I love talking to you all and will wherever. Like if you did like the video if I hadn't said that already, and subscribe for more Tower of God and much more. If you want it, like I said, 600 chapters in, we'll do another screen time video. Other than that, if you want to help support the channel, if you want to help me to continue to make videos, super thanks to be appreciated, sure. But if you want to, you could get One Piece early, get a shout out at the end of every single video by hitting join down below and becoming a channel member, or going to patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or link will be in the description to become a patron. Either way, patrons and channel members, like I said, get a shout out at the end, but I haven't really checked in the past couple of days, so if there's any new people, sorry, I'll add you for the next one. Thank you to people who are patrons and members. Thank you to Chosen Regular Evan Holly. Thank you to Magical Girls FR Nono, Huarian, and Smeller Dog. Thank you to Cherryton student David Langstaff. Thank you to Slayer candidate SG, and thank you to Pure Element Pate Ardealo. Thank you all so much. And yeah, that's it. Thank you, and I'll see you all next time.